If you've ever been around a construction site, you've probably heard of Klein Tools. Klein has been making tools since 1857. In fact, their linesman pliers are typically just referred to as Kleins. I can't tell you how many times I've heard an electrician on a job site just say, hey, hand me my Kleins. Well, you may not know that Klein Tools has an outdoor tool line they're calling Blackfire. And today we're going to take a look at the Blackfire folding saw. That's what's coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me. So as I said, we're going to take a look at this Blackfire folding saw, and the folks at Blackfire reached out to me a little while ago and asked me if I'd be interested in taking a look at some of their outdoor tools and maybe having them sponsor a video or two. When I found out they were made by Klein Tools, I agreed to check them out, and I'm glad I did because my initial take on this thing, it is very, very high quality, like all the Klein Tools. And we're going to do some of that saw stuff to check it out. But as I said, this is, just to be clear, this is a sponsored video, which means they're paying me to show you this saw. So I'm going to do my best to let the saw do the talking, so to speak. But I also want to tell you that they're also offering a 10% discount to you as a viewer of this channel. Use the coupon code SOP10 at checkout on their website, and there'll be a link in the video description for that. So before we get to doing some of that saw stuff and letting the saw do the talking, let me just tell you about the details of this thing. So it has a hardened carbon steel blade. It's a 5-inch blade. It has two locking positions, which is really cool. It has this 100 and first let me just show you this. This thing locks up very, very positively, and it's just really nice positive click there. And that's 125 degrees for overhead branches, so it's really hard to get, so you can get that. Instead of having to saw straight up, you can saw from the top down, let them break down on you. And then also you push the button back here and it snaps open into 180 degrees for straight sawing, which is pretty cool. But when you fold it up, it's pretty compact. It's about 6.5 inches long, maybe about 1.25 inches in diameter. And a nice push button lock back here. And you can grip it up close if you want to, or you can grip it back here, but it's got a nice swell here so you can get a good grip on it. Kind of a grippy little panels right here, cushion for easier palming. It's an optional lanyard hole if you want to do that. And it's designed to cut through both, the blade on it is designed to cut either green or dry wood, and we're going to check that out. Again, it's a 5-inch blade, so you can cut up to theoretically 4 or 5-inch diameter logs or poles. I would say probably real world 3 to 4 inches probably. You know, this is just for cutting up firewood and sapling and clearing brush for shooting lanes if you're hunting or whatever else you need to do, or just, you know, doing that bushcraft stuff. So anyway, all that being said, let me give you a quick close-up of this thing just so you can see it, see the teeth on this thing. Very nice, sharp, diagonally cut teeth. It goes on back. It's got a nice metal, I don't know what kind of metal it is, but it's a nice metal cover here with star bolts in it to hold it on. It's got a metal liner in it. You can see that the lock back is all metal in there. I think that's some kind of stainless steel. It's hard to say. Nice push button here and a nice padded end. So even though it is a plastic covered body, the frame and everything is metal, which I like because that's just really, really solid. So anyway, let's get to doing some of that saw stuff. You want to? Okay, so I'm here next to this deadfall tree that kind of shot the opening in front of the root wad there, as I call it. And it's been down about 3 or 4 years now, I think. So some of the wood, maybe you can see over here, well, some of it's kind of rotten, but this is really solid here. So thought we would go ahead and try this here. So this is good and dry wood. We're going to open this thing up, and we can go here. This is about close to 2.5, 3 inches. This is probably closer to almost 4 inches, maybe 3.5. So which one should we do? Well, let's do the 3.5, since I don't want anybody saying that I'm sandbagging it because it's a sponsored video. So let's just try this and see. You can count the strokes, you can check the time or whatever. I'll give you the elapsed time when I do editing, but we're just going to cut this thing. And it looks like it's a pull cut stroke. Cuts on the pull stroke, but it's almost straight, so it might be a both sides. It's sharpened on both sides, so let's just see. That's some hard wood too. We'll just cut it all the way through, don't want to break it. All right, so whew, just so you can see, it's not rotted. It's not rotten. It's good and hard. So, hear that? Okay. So, I didn't count the strokes. You can tell me if it did the strokes, but I can tell you that it cut pretty good through there, and the grip was pretty easy to use. I actually tried this kind of grip, I tried this kind of grip, and they both worked just fine. I was actually even trying kind of this kind of grip for a minute, so depends on what kind of angle you're at, but that was the dry cutting test. Let's see if we can find something green that would not be destructive to cut. Okay, so I've got something green here. You can see it's still alive, but it's not in the greatest shape, so we're probably doing the forest a favor here to cut this. I know somebody's gonna think I'm some sort of horrible person for daring to kill a living thing, but we're gonna do it anyway. So this is only about 1.5 inches in diameter. That's what I could find, but it's green. I just want to compare the cutting green with cutting dry and see how well it does both of them. So we'll just do it now. Cover your eyes, children. There we go. Cut another one just for fun. So I just want to show you that. Okay, so that was both some dry cutting and some green cutting, and it did fine with both of them. But now what I'm trying to do is hold this thing still enough where I can cut it. This is the piece that I cut originally, the dry wood. I'm trying to cut another little piece off the end of it so I can, if I can hold it still, it'd be better. So I can get a little extreme, because sometimes I like to get a little extreme. And there we go. So again, you can see, can you see that? Focus there, grasshopper. It is pretty daggum solid right there. So like I said, I want to go above and beyond a little bit with the saw, because it's just to check it out. So we'll try to, it's not a knife, it's a saw, but we're going to try to get down to some wood here underneath all this old bark, and let's just scrape it down a little bit. Again, it's not a knife. Okay, so it's not doing knife stuff very well, but it's not supposed to. It's a saw. Okay, I just really wanted to get it down to this point and try something. So I'm going to try to make a little sawdust here. It's not piling up like I want it to in one place. So let's see if I can get it to maybe be a little more cooperative with me. So, you probably know where we're going with this, right? Got a little pile right there. Now, we've got the old ferro rod here. This thing doesn't seem to have a really super sharp spine on it, but let's just see if it'll, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Let's try and see what happens here. And looky there. She's burning, but she's not burning good. But that's the wood. but I'm going to endeavor to persevere here. Get a little air in there. Get a little air in there. Can you see it burning? It wants to burn. It's burning. Just a lot of damp in there, I think. But it's burning, and you can see this thing strikes a ferro rod like nobody's business. Question you might be asking yourself is, yeah, it's great. It's made by Klein Tools. How expensive is it? Well, I'm glad you asked. This outdoor folding saw right here, price on this is $24.99. Like I said, you save 10% by using the coupon code SOP10 at their website. So that's pretty cool. And gotta say, I think the saw did pretty well, but I was trying my best to let the saw talk for itself. And hopefully you could see that it did. It cut this solid dry wood really well. It cut the green wood well. It's sort of a pull cut, but it seemed it seemed to cut on both push and pull, which I like. There's just no sense in wasting strokes, right? And finally, as you can see, it strikes the heck out of a ferro rod. And so even if we had a little bit better wood, we could probably got us a fire going with nothing but this saw and a ferro rod, which is pretty cool. So that's the Blackfire 5-inch folding saw from the folks at Blackfire, a division of Klein Tools. And thanks again to the folks at Blackfire for sending me this so I could show it to you and for sponsoring today's video. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.